Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome back once more to Doing Our Best, Forsworn Epic. This is our 5e Dungeons & Dragons game set in the world of Theros, using the Mystic Odyssey of Theros, and all of the rights reserves are done by Dungeons & Dragons and Wizards of the Coast, yada yada yada. I am your DM for the evening, Oscar, and we will be going once more around the horn, introducing everyone to their characters and players, starting with my immediate right on screen, Ames. Hiya now.
Hello. Hi, Ames. I play Talia. That's yes.
Yes, good. Great. Moving on down the line, we have Ed.
Howdy, I'm Ed. I play Callista of the Swiftclaw clan, your local furry.
Well, then circle around the horn to the next pseudo furry, Kaji.
Hi, I'm Kaji. I play everyone's favorite satyr as Sherry.
There we go. And then moving on to our actual next furry, we move on to Phil.
Evening, everyone. I am Phil. I play Bobros.
And then finally, going straight from furry to Starboy, we have James.
Hi, I'm James. I play Alexian Demetrios. He is a Starboy.
Yes. And we will be continuing where we left off, but for now, we are going to bring you away from reality, back into fantasy, as we continue on our trek through the world of Theros, and to see what awaits our party. Last time on Forsworn Epic, the party had begun their trek deeper and deeper into the southern forest outside of the city of Neolantin, hoping to locate a blind sailor. However, the trail seemed to diverge as coming across a camp riddled with little beings made of wood and bark that assailed the party. Further investigation revealed two very disturbing things. One, a shallow grave that was owned by a elderly woman who seemed to have been murdered. Uncertain by who or necessarily how, but the stab wounds would indicate thusly. The other thing was a journal, perhaps owned by the proprietor of the camp, currently suspected to be the bard Vaso. However, with uncertainty bounding, the party continued along its trek, heading further in, where they came across a small river and a dryad, a wood nymph by the name of Lydia, who regaled them with her story of love and loss, and her connection to this interesting Vaso. However, the party could not draw any definite conclusions and had asked for an audience with the guardian of the grove. And as the party, escorted by Lydia, made their way to a field that seemed to be owned by a flock of multicolored and spectral rams, they also came to meet this guardian, a hulking, tree-like humanoid that now stands before the party and beckons them. Why have you come here? So,
Callista.
I was about to say, if anyone wishes to answer this massive tree person, be my guest.
I can step forward if you guys want.
I mean, I think Callista was in the front, though, since
Sure.
she was the one leading the way most of the time.
That is fair.
So,
At a minimum, I will work my way towards the front.
Callista would chime in. I'm very sorry. We mean no disrespect on your blessed grounds. We have just come to find someone who is missing and thought someone as ancient as you might be able to help us in our quest.
As he leans down, you hear his skin, bark-like skin, creak and crack. And he gets closer, now closer to your eye level. He is haunching over to look at you. And you see him kind of examine you from one side to the other. He does not necessarily breathe, but you can feel this wind about him that just seems to permeate the area. You seek one who is lost. Very well. If you have questions, then speak it, though I know not if I hold the answer.
Well, I imagine the first one is, have you seen a young man from the town stumble in? We believe he may have been drunk when he made his way into this forest.
You see him
I'll
kind of-
follow up on that and add some further detail if you don't mind. And Lexian will step forward and say, a man by the name of Stephanos, I believe, perhaps led, mesmerized by song?
As you say song, you see his gaze drift from the party over to Lydia. And you see this kind of sorrowful look come over him. Do you mean to say that your song beckoned an unfortunate into these woods?
We don't necessarily think it was Lydia's song, but rather the bard Vaso, who has made his way into the woods.
Vaso, you say?
I believe that was his name. I never actually met the man.
It was.
As he kind
Do
of...
you
I'd like to-
know-
I'd like to
I'll wait
move
for-
up and flank Callista on the other side from where Alexian is.
Okay,
I mean, staying probably 5 feet back, but just close by.
okay.
I'll wait for him to answer the thing about Vaso and stuff.
You see him lean back, and again, the woods begin to creak and crack as he moves. You can see bits and pieces of leaves kind of fall off of his massive frame. I cannot say I know anything about this Stephanos. No young man by such a designation has entered these woods. But Vaso, you say, he has traversed these woods many times to see her. Again, looking towards Lydia.
If I might speak up real quick, we aren't really thinking that country. We aren't really thinking that it's Vaso luring them in with the song. It's more of we believe that someone stole her song. Why am I going into such a southern drawl? Ignore me.
I don't know, but it works. I mean,
It does work, but give me a minute. I do this every session.
fair.
20 sessions and I'll finally get it down.
Um,
We think someone actually stole her song, you know?
You see him kind of look past his shoulder, and he looks back at the area behind him. With the sun now having begun to truly set on this day because of how long it has taken you to travel through the woods, you start to see that the flock that he seems to be tending to is currently, even though there is no direct sunlight, very calmly grazing. Almost as if they feel an utter form of protection in this area. And he looks back. I have been able to see some things. However, I do not sense that any of you are followers of my master.
Who do you call Master, Ancient One?
The goddess Nylea.
The one that guards this forest, you know. That's the Nylea, the one that is the one that everyone talks about. I am not a follower of her. I'm a follower of Eidos.
You see, he's almost like he's chewing on something. He's mulling something over in his head.
Is you got a thought? Or would you like to share?
I can see that you intend to learn all that you can. But without Nylea's blessing, I am forbade from indulging those who seek too much and venture too far into these woods. However,
How might
if you wish to prove yourself worthy, see if you can catch a glimpse of starlight. And you see him stand up. And as he steps out of the way into the meadow is open before you.
You want us to just run in there?
No. It is a difficult task to shear the wool of the Nyx ram. If you prove yourself worthy and trusted by the flock, I will accept that as Nylea having accepted your mission, and your information shall no longer be guarded.
Well, I'm always down for a good challenge.
Be wary. The Nyx rams will consist of magical properties. Those who dare harm these creatures find themselves cursed by the malignant forces that lie within the Nyx. Be on your word and on your guard. You're muted, Ames.
Well then.
Once more with feeling now as we rearrange. There we go.
So we
Before-
need. You want us to shear one of the rams?
Before we do this, is there any reason why these rams would have left your field?
The forest is my field, my flock. And you see he kind of reaches up his massive arm and extends it outwards. And you see these firefly-like lights kind of leave. And as they leave, more of them begin to propagate across the forest and begin to slightly illuminate the area. Not enough to cause bright light, but at the very least there is a solid dim light that seems to almost shake from the trees themselves.
Right.
Before Callista enters the field, she's going to take the little bit of fleece that we had found and rub it over specifically like her hands and her neck and other areas that produce a lot of pheromones to try to mask that as something more friendly
Very well.
than potentially a large predator.
You can do this, however, doing so causes the wool to dissipate and kind of fade away in your hands. You were able to get yourself a nice coating, but that little tuft is now gone.
That's fair. We couldn't really make much of that in the first place.
That was pretty smart, actually.
So,
Well,
Need to be easier.
quite familiar with creatures and the like.
All right.
as the massive tree person gestures with his hand, he beckons you in.
DM,
Yes?
as a prep, is there something I can roll to try and figure out something that may be helpful
You
in
may.
this situation?
But there's something everyone needs to roll first.
Stealth.
Oh boy.
Initiative.
Initiative?
That
Yeah.
works too.
Because we will be going in order. There are plenty of rams, upwards of 15 of a flock you can see in this area. However,
I have a
Yeah.
question then.
yes,
Does my ranger feature for advantage on initiative still apply to this initiative roll?
I would say yes. It is an initiative, even though it is not combat. And for some reason, it is not popping up in the other. Oh, there we go. Now it is. Okay. So
Yeah, what do we choose for a token?
do not worry about
Yeah.
tokens. I will take care of initiative.
Okay.
Okay, because I was about to say like it gave me the you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
11.
So,
Nice, 17 for once.
should be able to.
The satyr walks in.
Okay.
Sup, my fellow brethren.
Well,
I mean, you might have a good chance. Who knows?
All I
Yeah.
can think of is just, hello, my fellow sheep.
okay. So,
This is gonna go really
Hello,
well or
fellow
really
kids.
bad.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hello,
These are her-
fellow students.
These
So-
are her sheeple.
Ha! So, as we get everything set up here, Sherry, you have the first to go. How would you like to go about this? You have a few steps you can take. You have a preparation step, and then the actual attempt, which I'll be perfectly honest, unless you can negotiate with me some other method, will be animal handling.
Honestly, what she's gonna do is take a deep breath in to calm herself and like stay relaxed and not be too tense.
Okay.
And then kind of just take very careful, light steps, and just kind of make herself as small as possible, as possible for her, and just kind of go in easily. So soft speaking and such like that.
Okay.
DM,
Yes.
is this all happening at the same time, or is this just one at a time?
We are going in initiative. So Sherry is up first.
I'm asking for reasons.
This all will be happening in relatively the same time frame. Everyone kind of branches off to go and pick their own ram potentially. You also know that because of Callista's previous insight into what this creature is, you know two things. One, their wool is magic, which also means two, could probably sell for a lot.
Yeah.
So, the more wool you're able to get, more coinage you might be able to pull out of this.
Sure.
So, assuming we can keep it.
Well,
We are.
that
This
fine.
is his flock after all.
You are correct, but we will have to see
It only
in
be fair
due
to give
time.
it to him.
So,
I mean,
Sherry.
it's also harmful to sheep not to shave them.
True.
So, Sherry, as you get low to the ground, try and approach it. I'm going to say, roll me a stealth check. This is more not just so that you're unnoticed, but so that your presence is lessened. Normal stealth.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay. 11.
11. Okay. You begin approaching. There are a variety of different sizes and shapes of ram. Which type are you particularly looking towards?
I don't want to go towards like a young, so I don't want to be seeming as if I'm attacking like a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to go towards like a adult. So like maybe like a mid-range, somebody that's like not quite an alpha or like a be too skittish, just kind of like mid-range of like
Okay.
age-wise.
You see a probably adolescent ram. Horns are only grown out to about here rather than the full corner. So you think that they're decent size that you can probably shave them if you're able to get close enough, but they are not clearly adult. So with that stealth check, you approach, making yourself low and approaching this ram. It looks up at you and kind of with those slightly half-slit eyes looks over to you. Doesn't run, doesn't bray or anything, but it does take notice of you. If you want, you can now roll me. Yeah?
As I get closer to it, I'm going to sit on the ground and just hands out and wait.
Okay.
Let it accept me.
Okay. Roll me an animal handling check at advantage.
Okie dokie. That is a 19.
19. The adolescent seems a little skittish, but checking the wisdom of this thing, just because this thing does have stats. Or, no, sorry, not wisdom, intelligence. It does, although with a lot of caution, come over to you.
I do not move.
It just kind of sniffs around you, you know, making sure that you're not trying to be a predator or anything. You're not a trap.
I'm just relaxing. I'm just sitting here, waiting for it to just relax, showing no sudden movements.
Okay. As you're waiting for it to relax, it starts to graze. It seems comfortable enough with your presence that it is willing to lower its head and eat. We will get back to you for the shearing.
Yes.
Moving on, we now have Talia.
You're muted, Ames.
There we go.
I was trying to unmute myself and it remuted. I think what Talia is gonna try and do is quietly look over the sheep while casting guidance on herself.
Mm-hmm.
Whispering a soft prayer to herself because, oh boy. And try to approach one without horns, one of the sheep more than the ram, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
And kind of keep in the peripheral the sheep, just keeping the eyes averted and just walking forward without seeming like she's walking forward.
Okay, so you're kind of walking just off-center from your target.
In a very slow, methodical pattern.
Okay. I'm going to say, roll me a general charisma check.
Oh no. Okay.
You do have guidance with this, though.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget.
Oh boy. A full 17.
Okay. You kind of lay eyes on a elderly, not elderly per se, but elder sheep. Long wool kind of draping down, almost touching the ground. Not that it looks like it's clumped up in places, but it just has a lot of volume to it. And as you begin to approach sideways, it takes notice, kind of cocks its head towards you, and then goes back to grazing.
I walk in the stream of Athreos' guidance. When I get close enough, I am going to pretty much do something similar to my satyr companion, which is sit down and very cautiously just meet her gaze.
Okay. Roll me an animal handling check. You will also have advantage.
I believe a 22 would be okay.
This slightly elder sheep walks over to you. As it does, you can see the moonlight begin to reflect off of the fleece and begin to sparkle like stars, almost of a rainbow-colored sheen against a pitch-black night. And
Just very cautiously start to reach out before kind of petting the crook of her head before going under the chin to just scratch.
as you pet the crook of her head and bring your hand below, she actually kind of rushes forward to you slightly. We lost Kaji again. No, we have Kaji. We lost Ed. Ed's coming back. There we go. As I was saying, everything okay, Ed?
Yeah, I just live in a rural area, so my Wi-Fi isn't always the most reliable, especially with the rebuilding efforts from the couple towns that were burned next door. So,
as I was saying, as you begin to scratch underneath it, it kind of darts forward. It actually places its head underneath your chin. Almost like saying,
Oh, okay.
chin up, dear. You're doing fine.
Okay, good.
And we will now move right along to Alexian. You're muted, James. No, nothing. I'm not getting nothing. Oh, and he's gone. And he's back.
Fixed? Question mark?
Yes,
Yep.
I can hear you now.
Didn't change anything. Stupid dude.
today is the game of video difficulties.
That it
Right.
is.
We're
So-
just getting started, and we're doing our best.
We are
Mr.
doing
Benevolent DM, man.
Yes.
I would like to campaign for advantage by
How so?
using Cloak of Stars.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm one of you. We're all Nyxborn. Me and you, and and I'm just a friend. And I do want to cast Speak with Animals. I'm not really anticipating it working, but just in case.
Okay. You can, I believe it's a ritual. You can ritual cast it if you would like.
Oh, okay. Hey, absolutely. Yeah, I guess we're gonna be here for a while. Then,
Yeah.
hey.
Okay.
I'll also guidance myself prior, but is
Oh yeah.
Cloak of Stars reasonable for advantage?
Definitely reasonable for advantage. So as
All right.
you take on this,
So here comes.
Yeah.
He fills out and like around him, he just sort of trails the starlight behind him as he approaches. He leaves his spear, on the ground behind, and sets down his things, and like begins a ritual where you see like going through the like starlight around him are just like faces of different animals. One of them's a ram, and then he stands from his like kneeling position and is going to like almost like drifting gracefully kind of thing across the grass, just sort of steps forward, palm down, slowly going to offer a like something out of his rations that's like food or something towards the he's going to pick the individual that seems most proprietary. Like if there's a member of the flock that seems to look at the others in a proprietary manner, like as if it's like their flock,
Okay.
I'll approach that one and say, noble creature, I have for you a gift in exchange for a small request I would like to make of you. Will you hear me? And doesn't approach like to get totally close, revealing like some like, I don't know, like celery or some shit. What does sheep eat? In his hand, like from like
Yeah.
the safe bubble distance.
I gotcha. You have speak with animals up right now, right?
Does it work?
As you have speak with animals going, your starry forum, you hear in a rather simplistic but very prominent voice. I see you are one of us, that of the Starry Night. You say that you wish to ask a favor of me. He kind of looks you up and down. I would like you to roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Yes, I did it. All right. I'm guidanced as well,
Okay.
because of course. Wait. Speak with animals concentration?
I was
No,
about to
good.
ask.
It's not.
Okay.
It isn't. That's why I was like, maybe not guidance. So, god damn it, I forgot to do the advantage. So here's the second one.
Okay.
18.
18. Okay. The creature looks you up and down. Speak your request, but leave your offering there, and then I shall consider what it is you ask of me.
He sits down, placing it in front of him, sort of like lotus position, palms in lap, and he says, I would like to deliver to you food for you and your flock in exchange for allowing me the favor of shearing some of your coat for you.
The ram kind of looks you up and down, very stoic. Roll me an animal handling check at advantage.
Shit! Alright.
You've got his attention.
I keep forgetting to do the toggle. 1 second. Oh, well, that was a good one. Oh my god, yes! Oh wait, I probably shouldn't have added guidance, but whatever, I got an actual 20.
Okay. With a 25, because we'll count the first d4 plus your natural 20.
Sure.
The ram kind of walks over very slowly, very contemplatively, looks down at the offering that you have presented to it, and slowly reaches down in order to begin nibbling on it. Kind of pulls himself back momentarily. Your offering, Star One, is accepted. But I warn you, shearing one such as my fleece is no easy task. And with that,
I feel like that's my turn? Question mark?
yes, we will now be moving on to, I believe it is Callista. Callista, then Bavros. So, what are you doing, Callista?
So I've already spread the wool on me.
Mm-hmm.
Callista's also going to take off all her weapons at the start of the grove, and anything that makes loud noises when she moves, except she is going to remove from her pack a bowl and water skin, and is going to carefully make her way into the field, and she's going to attempt to get close to a group, but not like fully approach, and sit down and pour water into the bowl and leave it in front of her, and just kind of vibe with the sheep for a bit.
Okay. Vibing with the sheep. Trying to get into the mind of the sheep. I'm going to say...
lion in sheep's clothing, if you will.
I'll give you that one. I will say, for this one, you're just kind of being passive about it, right? You're not even really trying to approach any particular sheep or ram?
No.
Okay.
Just close to a smaller group, water in the bowl, fleece hopefully making me smell more appealing, and just chilling.
Okay. Just trying to think of what check would be suitable for such an event. I'm going to...
animal handling's good with me.
I mean, true, but that's the second part of it. I'm trying to think of what you have done so far in order to get them to approach you in the first place.
Water in the bowl.
Yeah, I'm gonna say... Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Roll me a survival check at advantage. The survival is because you have presented an offering of sustenance, but you have not, in comparison to Alexian, who paid directage to one specific, you're just kind of being very passive about it.
At advantage, you said?
Yes, because you still smell like one of them, even though you clearly do not. Let's see.
I'm not rolling well, as that's an 11.
Yeah. I'm afraid that
Yeah.
none of the sheep seem to be drawn to you with your offering. Perhaps Thassa's grace is not necessarily an approachable subject here in a forest dedicated to Nylea.
Yeah. That's fair.
But I will say you can roll an animal handling check now if you want to still attempt to at least gain one of the sheep from the herd. However, it will be a flat roll rather than with advantage. It would be a disadvantage, but you still have the coating on you.
22. Much better.
Okay. So your patience pays off. It just takes a little bit longer as you're sitting there being very patient, very quiet. Eventually, a somewhat young sheep starts curiously making their way out in your direction. And you can see that their fleece is extremely, like, they're almost like a ball of fleece rather than having this luxurious coat like the one that Talia was able to call forth. And it's just kind of like, and slowly makes its way over to you. But with that, we will now pass the buck to Bavros.
Okay, so are all of the rams, the sheep, are they all in this open field, or are some in the forest nearby?
The ones that are available to you are currently in the meadow.
Okay. Because I'd like to look for any that are, maybe they're having, I don't know, maybe they're stuck or they're isolated or they're off by themselves.
Okay.
Any that might be in distress of some kind. You know, they're stuck someplace, they're caught in a bush or something.
Okay.
And maybe try and, if I could find one like that, I would want to very slowly, cautiously, non-threateningly, as much as I can be non-threatening, try to approach them and try to calm them and help them free themselves or deal with whatever it is they're dealing with. If they're stuck, help them get loose. If they're, trapped someplace, help them down, whatever.
Okay. What is your passive perception? I just want to see if you might notice.
It's going to be it's going to be a 12.
12. Okay. As you're kind of surveying this flock, looking for any that might need a distress, you hear a thunking sound a little ways off. And as you turn your head to look in that direction, you see a rather large ram with horns that curl twice over is currently butting its head against one of the larger trees. And as you see it do so, you hear this sickening crunch as it seems to lodge its horn into the tree bark.
Okay. I will from the side. I'm not going to come up behind it. Mm-hmm. From the side, so it can see me through its periphery. I'm going to slowly approach. I'm actually going to go around the other side of the log. It's a horizontal log?
No, it's a standing tree. This thing broke into a living tree
okay.
trunk.
Okay. So I will basically, if the ram is stuck in the tree, I'm going to probably from almost like the 7 o'clock position.
Okay.
Approach slowly, hands up, putting everything I have down.
Mm-hmm.
All my weapons and everything down on the ground. I will approach, slowly, gently grasp its horns, and try and dislodge it.
Okay. Roll me an athletics check. Now, this thing is fighting you. It understands.
Sure.
But this thing is just like trying to pull its own head out while you are trying.
And it's probably a little panicked, and it doesn't know me, and right.
So roll me an athletics check.
It's a natural 1 for a 7.
Oof. What's your AC?
That's a 15.
Okay, and that is going to be a hit.
Okay.
As it straight up kicks you in the in the gut with its hooves, and you feel this palpable force behind this kick. You are going to take a bit of damage, my friend.
That's okay.
For that natural 1. So I need one more die. Okay, you're going to take 8 points of bludgeoning damage and 2 points of force damage.
I'm going to use my unscarred resilience to negate some of that.
Very well. Roll me that D12 and add your constitution, or is it D10? I don't remember.
It's a D12.
D12 plus con mod. Okay.
And that's an 11.
Okay, yeah, you are able to nullify all of it. Actually, you did it over by 1. As this thing just kicks you square in the gut, you hold firm. Roll me an animal handling check now that you guys have a relative understanding. It is not with advantage, but it's not at disadvantage either.
Okay. That's a 17.
Very well. It calms, as shown that you are not so easily shook by its forceful kick. You stand your ground and slowly but firmly begin to wrap your hands around the horns. And while you hear the sounds of bark breaking and there are some scrapes along the horn line, you are able to dislodge this massive ram. Very good, guys. All of you have succeeded in acquiring a ram to shear. But now comes the hard part. As the tree person takes notice of all of your successes, you hear his voice, low but powerful. I see that the sheep have fallen in line. Very well, but let's see how you can handle them. They are wily creatures, born of the stuff of gods. Be very careful with your hands. As you see him kind of reach his hand down and place it against the ground, all of you suddenly see a small sapling begin to sprout next to you. And the branches seem to form into these very sharp set of shears. So, each of you are equipped with a gifted set of shears in order to try and shear. All of you are going to be rolling a variety of dexterity checks. If you have some sort of tool or some sort of proficiency that you feel might come in handy, you may add it, but we will be starting back at the top of initiative with Sherry.
I was actually going to ask if would I be able to add my proficiency for an unarmed strike, which would be counted as more of a talent with my hands. And also I have worked in a vineyard for a little bit with my family, so maybe I have a little bit of talent with gentle trimming and such with vines, so that'd be able to have an advantage of shiny type.
Okay. Are you proficient in sleight of hand, perchance?
No, but I've got a +3.
Okay. So, for me, I want you to roll me an unarmed strike. This is not to do damage, but this is to see how effective you are. Because your martial arts training has taught you how to steady yourself and to be able to make precise strikes as needed. So, roll me an unarmed strike.
That's an... Oh, wait, that was an advantage. Let me re-roll that. Not...
Unfortunate.
Damn it.
Let's see if you can do it again.
Come on. That was so great. Oh, I was so excited for a second there.
That's it!
Oh my god, that's a fucking twice in a row! Oh my god,
There we go!
Wow.
Oh, excuse me.
Hell yeah, man.
Holy shite.
Applause! Applause!
Oh, baby. Oh, my heart. Steady.
Very, very good.
Do the revel.
The revel! Oh,
As-
Iros be praised.
As you kind of stand in front of this adolescent ram, you probably guess they're probably no older than maybe a year at the most. And you can see that their fleece is very tightly packed. It's not the flowing or poofy fleece that you see, but it's very bundled up. So as you kind of like place your hand against its head, with one swift strike, you right along the back, and the fleece just kind of falls off. Not a scratch on the skin underneath. You have acquired one Nyxram fleece pelt.
Yes.
So, moving back along, we are moving on to Dahlia.
I do know this ram, the sheep, is old. Yes.
Yes, clearly an elderly sheep.
I got nothing. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Okay.
I was like, can I go? No. I'm just gonna make a prayer and hope
Okay.
for the guidance. That's all I can really do.
Make a sleight of hand with guidance.
I believe in
Does Scritches give me advantage?
Scritches got you the animal.
you.
That's how I get all my animals, actually. Don't be bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Roll guidance.
I've seen worse.
Anytime now.
Any second now.
Did you roll it?
There
It
is.
says rolling.
There it goes.
I got a total of 10.
10. Checking armor class of any six, right? Unfortunately, that is not a success. You attempt to. You're very you're almost overly cautious. You're like, maybe from. You're so afraid of accidentally nicking what could potentially be this creature's last skin blemish that you just kind of like. However, the sheep understands. It just kind of nuzzles against your neck.
I think I'm just gonna put the shears down for a moment and just be like, we'll try again in a moment.
Okay. Moving
Everything's
along.
fine. Everything's fine.
Alexia.
I'm not sure anything is gonna get me proficiency in this. I don't have a nature proficiency, even. Unless Arcana could count, since they're Nyx sheep.
Well, do remember, you currently have the ability to converse with your sheep.
Yeah, I was gonna get campaign for advantage based on cooperation.
Well, depends. What do you say to your sheep?
Oh, sure. I will just say, if you know of any knots in your fleece that I might want to avoid, if you could tell me of them now, the experience will be a much more pleasant one for you.
I see you wish to take care in your shearing. Very well, I will inform you. I do have a bundle of knots around the tip of my tail that have been bugging me for quite some time. I would highly recommend, if not saving that for the last, avoiding it altogether. I will also warn you, the fleece around my legs also seem to have seen quite a bit of wear and tear as I have pranced about the meadow. Be careful, as they have coarse ferns and other things that I would rather not speak of, tied up in them.
Trying not to laugh, because I've seen what happens. Sorry. So I just want to... I will just say to him, so then I will attempt your body first, and if I can remove these sorts of annoyance thereafter, I will try, with your leave.
I will aid you as much as I can. So you may make a sleight of hand check with advantage. as you have spoken to your sheep, and your sheep seems relatively convinced that you're a solid individual.
I'm trustworthy and shit.
Mhm.
All right, let's do a dex check. Guidance.
Yes.
I have to toggle advantage. There we go. Big money. Yeah.
18. Okay.
With my +0, it could be way worse.
It could have been. But you are able to... It's a slow going process for you. But you are able to very carefully avoid the knotted areas. And when it comes time to start moving along the sides of the body, your sheep kind of stretches out each limb, giving enough space without you having to cause much hassle. You have now acquired your second fleece.
Second? Oh, total.
Yes, because Kaji also got one. So...
No, I thought you were talking about, like, each of... Anyway.
No. So...
I don't have two. Where did I get the first one?
Moving along. Callista.
So I have a couple questions because I have
a couple answers.
So do these shears look particularly magical? Like I have to use them to shear the sheep?
One, they do have a slightly magical essence to them. You kind of look at the wood that it literally grew from, and you can see that it is one solid piece with only a somewhat like springy type of texture in the center in order to give you the clamp that you need to shear it. The other thing is that it's literally the only pair of shears you have currently, I think.
Well, I want to not use shears because as a Leonin, I have claws that deal slashing damage, quote unquote, and I want to use them more as a straight razor to kind of cut the fleece off while in a petting motion on the sheep to petition for animal handling instead of sleight of hand.
That's an interesting manner to go about it. Okay. I'm not going to say, well, I don't think animal handling necessarily, but I will let you make a claw attack if you think that that might do better.
It's technically 1 point higher, so than my sleight of hand. Sure.
Okay. I will tell you, this younger sheep is clearly very excitable.
Okay.
I will say, if you want to, you can roll me a straight animal handling check to try and get it to calm down. And if you're able to get it to calm down, you will have advantage on your claw attack.
That sounds wonderful. So animal handling?
Yes.
Boop. That's a 17 animal handling.
Okay. With a 17 animal handling, it's kind of going from like boing, 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 boing to stock still. You have advantage on your claw attack to shear this sheep.
Okay. Don't fuck up. 17.
17, okay, yeah. As you kind of pet it, soothe it, get it to stop jumping up and down, you kind of just... and along the back. There's a moment where you get snagged on a particularly tough piece of fleece, but you just kind of... all the way through. And you have acquired your own fleece. Yes.
Toe beans for the win.
Very well. And then finally we come along to Bavros.
So, given the rocky start to our relationship, I will approach. I will approach my my target gingerly. I'll have the shears in my hand, but again, non-threateningly. I will actually sit down. You know, if I'm able to get close enough, I will sit down in front of it and put the shears on the ground. Again, hands up.
Okay.
And slowly reach my hand out to it.
Roll me an animal handling check to see if it will acknowledge you.
Why did it do all of that?
What did it do? All of what?
All right, that's sorry, lag on the dice. That's an 11 for the animal handling.
Okay. The ram doesn't really kind of follow your beckon. Instead, you see it kind of take this stance and kind of dig its hoof into the ground, almost as if it's challenging you. This one particular seems to be pretty aggressive.
So this is an alpha. Okay. I will slowly go to a 3-point stance.
Mm-hmm.
Put my head down.
Mm-hmm.
Locking eyes with it. And I will paw the ground with one of my back legs.
Okay. As
It wants to do that.
It wants to go. It looks like it's ready to go. You ready to go?
Let's go.
Okay. As you both dig your respective feet in, it claws out and then bolts right at you, charging for a straight-in headbutt. This is going to be an opposing athletics check. Would you like to do anything before contact?
Yeah, I think I will.
What do you want to do?
I think I'll do a little rage thing.
Okay, you rage
As
you brace yourself for this incoming impact. Roll me an athletics check at advantage.
Alrighty.
I believe in you.
That's a 15.
And mine is a natural 1.
All right.
Yeah.
So
as it charges me, can I kind of twist out of the way and grab its horns and wrestle it down?
I have a slightly better one. I have a slightly better one.
Eat it.
As you both
Just unconscious.
Yeah, as it barrels towards you, you brace yourself rather than charging forward. You hold firm, and the minute that it connects head to head, it just completely passed out on the ground.
Should be easy to shave now.
BRB.
Yeah.
Deceased. BRB.
Well, not deceased, but it is solidly unconscious with that one.
It got knocked the heck out.
Now that's what I call a knockout.
Mm-hmm. It has literally no resistance to shearing it at this point. So,
alrighty.
Just roll me a sleight of hand at advantage, and your DC is lowered as a result.
Alrighty.
K.O.
Let's see what that gives me. That's a dirty 20.
As soon as it goes down and you realize what happened, you do see a little bit of starlight, but that's actually just the fleece kind of falling over. You're like, oh well, snip, snip. And
That's them.
You successfully shear this massive ram.
And what I would like to do in the interest of goodwill towards the guardian of this flock, I would pick up my quarry and I would carry it over to him and gently lay it at his feet. Say, he's unharmed. He's just taking a little nap.
Okay, so yeah, you have acquired 4 out of 5 fleece. However, Talia seems to have made a new friend.
I'm working on it.
As you all begin coming over towards the Guardian, he looks at you all, giving you a brief surveillance. He kind of nods. Your offering to Nylea is acceptable. Place it on the ground and let the forest consume.
Sit on the ground and let the forest consume you? Is that what you said?
No, the guy is specifically talking to Bavros, because Bavros is the one who has offered up his fleece.
Oh, you've already... Okay.
Yeah. So.
And I do that. I'll lay it on the ground.
Okay. You lay the fleece on the ground. As it does, you see it begin to rapidly decompose. And as it does, you can see flower buds beginning to out from... Oh, and we lost James entirely now. You see it begin to blossom into a small patch of darkly shaded flower buds. Nylea has accepted your offering. The information you seek, I can provide. What exactly do you wish to know of this Vasso's intrusion into this forest?
Is he speaking to all of us right now?
Effectively, yeah.
Okay.
I would like to know more about the where this siren song is coming from, because it's definitely not Lydia. Where is this second song coming from?
I have not heard of any second song inside of these woods. The only song that permeates these trees and branches is that of Lydia.
Then has a man, not Vasa, but another, wandered into these woods at any point in the last day or so?
Within the last day, no.
2 maybe?
Well, the hunters did make their presence known in the forest 2 days prior, but they only got as far as the brambles before returning.
Do you know of the body that was in Vasso's camp?
And as he sighs, the whole wood seemed to creak and groan. I know that there was one of the mortals deceased within this forest, but many lose their lives in an attempt to gain what is not theirs. This particular one is but one of dozens. But you speak of a camp. Yes. Were there any other creatures like myself within the area of this camp?
Yes.
No,
There were
just-
5.
There was.
There was, yes.
Creatures of wood, yes. Small.
The blights. Yes.
Twig blights, yes.
They only appear in this forest when one is cursed through action. Though I do not believe this curse was dedicated towards you all for your intrusion, but more for the one who used the spot frequently. If this was indeed your Vasso who made this camp his own, perhaps the blights were sent to seek justice for this particular death.
Do you know where Vaso is now?
I do not. My vision only extends to as far as the wood's edge, and goes no further.
So he is not now within the wood.
He is not.
Is there a way that we can speak to your lady?
The goddess Nylea does not commune directly with non-followers, I'm afraid. And though I do speak to her, she is rare to speak back. I'm afraid an attempt to commune with the goddess of the wild would be met with a lack of empathy in your case. But I can say this. If there has been a second song, and you are searching for someone who was lost and came towards the forest, perhaps they did not enter the forest but were in turn interrupted somewhere between the city and here.
So you saw.
So
Perchance has your city and forest had issues with naiads?
I cannot say. Naiads tend to stay closer to larger bodies of water. We have on occasion had some water nymphs find their way upstream, but most only come to speak with Lydia, and nothing else.
Does your sight extend all the way to the wood's edge by the city?
It extends as far as the edge closest to Neolantin, yes.
Did you walk in? Like,
Sorry, what was that you were bringing up, Cuddy?
sorry. She asked, on the night of the man leaving, was there, any sight of somebody trying to enter?
Gonna see if he remembers. He is a tree person. Okay.
BT Dubs, what time is it? Is it like afternoon yet?
No, it is night.
Oh, nice.
You guys have spent the last 2 hours effectively getting to the sheep, shearing the sheep, doing everything needed. But,
some of us made friends with the sheep instead.
true. Very true. Very accurate. But for now, with the roll that he just made, I do remember seeing a faint silhouette at the edges of the forest. My hearing does not go as far, but my sight does. And they stood a very interesting personage. I know not if they were man, woman, but I can certainly say they were human. They stood with a black cloak that covered most of their form, and a mask that they seemed to wear.
Interesting. Not in character.
The mask is none like any I have seen. And for you, the one who walks with Athreos at their back, it was not a death mask. It was something wholly different.
Question, actually, for you. About that mask, since I'm forgetful, she's gonna try to, let me see from my notes I wrote down. I didn't actually write down the, session 0 we did that was explaining, that mask that she saw at the games.
Well, you saw a maskless individual. You saw a faceless.
Oh, that's right. Right, my apologies.
Yeah.
So never mind. Redact what I just said.
But he does continue on. The mask, I warn you, was of a frightening visage. Many faces, screaming in horror. No more than the size of one of your fingers covered the exterior.
I don't like the sound of that.
Be careful of that one. I know not who they are, but I can only sense evil from them.
Great Guardian, we thank you for your hospitality and your generosity with in allowing us the chance to prove ourselves worthy of your trust and your guidance, at least for now. But the night has come, and our way to the edge of the forest would be fraught with peril. Would you be willing to allow us to rest within your grove for the evening, and leave upon the morrow?
You are more than welcome to make rest. Nylea has given you her blessing, and as long as you stay true to yourselves and your motives, you are welcome within this forest. The brambles will not harm you, nor will the forest impede your path. If you wish to rest, you may.
Guardian, I want to give back the the place that I took It's not my place to take Nylea.
He holds up his hand. Those are the proof that you are blessed by Nylea and are welcome within these woods. Take them. Make use with them how you see fit.
She's
I
gonna
will
bow
not-
very deep.
I will not force you to return that which you have earned, though your offering, and he looks to you, Bavros, is most welcome. So, you guys can add 3 Nixram fleece to your inventory. They
Or
have
one for each person.
Well, there's 3, so there's one for each person who has not either failed or turned in there. But this fleece
We
clearly
can pass them around, but I think we can add them to our.
they clearly emanate magic. They can either you believe that they can either be made into something that can be a garment or something similar, or they will definitely sell for a very large amount.
Make a garment.
Okay.
Perhaps it might be wise of us to make a camp where Vaso made his camp and set up watch in case he were to return in the middle of the night. We could.
I do not wish to make myself subject to whatever curse befell him by remaining within the camp that he seemingly did something to. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I think we're better served staying here.
It
I
seems
also
he's
don't-
not
we don't-
within
we
the
don't-
forest, but
We don't know what else might come for him, and mistake us for him.
I mean, if the blights were sent by Nylea, I think we've avoided that problem. But I
also
will
think
go with.
how long of a walk it was.
Wasn't that long from what I recall, but I might be wrong.
It was a pretty long walk.
That was-
Never mind then. Yeah, we can grow this.
Okay.
And I think Talia made a friend who doesn't want her to leave.
I kind of also plan to get like. Can druids re-prepare their spells? Is that a thing that they can do?
With a long rest,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if it was like there's a couple of classes that you can like take an hour and re-prep things,
Okay.
equal like an hour per spell level, but I don't think that druids
No.
can do that.
So,
Oh, Ames, you wanted to say something?
I do think that this entire conversation, Talia's just been kind of still under this the sheep, just too awkward to get up, and just been like, yes, we're petting, yes, I don't, okay.
Just stuck under a sheep.
so,
She'll be nice and warm tonight.
oh yeah.
S-
So,
got a pet blanket.
Fleece
I think-
blanket.
if
So
she-
I think we are. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Alexia will address the party and just say, "So I think we are all in agreement that grow for the evening."
I agree very
Yeah.
much. I would like to
Yeah.
stay in very well. It feels
Yeah.
more safer. We've got the guardian, we've got the sheep. It's the best place.
Very well.
I will be
Agree.
with you in a moment to continue setting up camp. There is something I must ask the guardian.
Of course.
So you head over to the Guardian, who, while not talking, just kind of sits back and leans against the sturdier bunch of trees, and his eyes don't seem to drift far from where Lydia, who is currently sitting amongst a small flock herself, stands.
I will just sort of walk near and then kind of like get into sort of like a you know how you like kind of you'll just sort of sit like lotus pose, I guess,
Okay.
and nearby, not necessarily, kind of looking up at the tree man. What was his name again? He was mentioned at some point, but I don't have it in my notes.
He never gave you his name, nor did Lydia.
Perfect. So I'm going to ask him. So I say, Great Guardian, I have something of which I must speak to you about. But first, what is your name? I am Alexian Demetrios.
As you ask this of him, he looks down towards you. Every time his head turns, the sound of wood creaking continues. I have long since forgotten my name. I am simply one of the woods, another tree amongst the forest. But what is your question, Alexian Demetrios?
I take a look around. Do I think that anybody is like in range of hearing this?
Roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Just
I
to
do
get
that.
just to get a gauge. I know that.
See how I'm doing. Oh, I rolled an advantage. Sorry.
Well, you did roll an advantage, but you did roll it with guidance.
So just ignore the guidance, I guess.
With a 20, it looks like most everyone seems to be setting up camp right now, getting ready, getting a very small and contained fire going. And unfortunately, though, Talia is, it's now not just under a sheep. They're now kind of flocked by other sheep as well, and it's now
They've like huddled.
more like a massive cuddle pile for some reason. You're up to your eyeballs in fleece, Talia.
That's funny.
What is this scene that I'm looking back at, by the way? Because I'm like casting my eyes over my shoulder. I'm curious what the whole thing looks like.
Well, you see Talia currently, only this much of her you can see above the sheep
Pleading
line.
with like her eyes.
There's just like some feet sticking out of the end that I can see from this angle.
I imagine that Callista's currently gathering firewood, or at least preparing a site where a fire pit can be safely.
Probably tending the fire because she grew up in dry plains where fire can spread easily.
Very true. Kaji, you're probably going to go get the kindling?
Yeah, she would be dealing with kindling and getting maybe some like leaves and such to help the bedrolls be a little softer.
And Bavros, what about you?
I'd probably be helping Callista.
Okay. So that is the scene that you see.
So I turn back from that and sort of seriously regard the Guardian and say, recently I was guided by the, recently I went in search of some knowledge, some secrets that was directed to the Nessian wilds, wherein it seemed the domain of your mistress had been corrupted by those associated with PH Farrakha. It was where Crufix upon, I believe, the moment of my death, created the creature I am now from the remnants. I would know what you know of this corruption, and whether or not your mistress is aware of it elsewhere.
I see what he knows. Apparently he knows a lot.
Yes! Score!
He looks towards
player
you
goal.
and says,
Player character goals.
You seek knowledge of the corruption of Farrakha in the Nessian wilds.
Give me 2 seconds to get my notes open so I can actually follow along. So
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
So sorry.
I have mine open as well. I constantly
Go ahead.
This is going to take too long to speak with his slow tree voice, so I will tell you.
Yeah.
He informs you that the corruption that you came across is not an isolated incident. There have been circumstances of a small cult belonging to Farrakha challenging Nylea, saying that the medicine and poisons that she can create can far outclass anything that nature itself can provide. As a result, this corruption has been a blight and an unfortunate consequence of their actions in an attempt to usurp Nylea's power. It is rare, and aside from the Nessian wilds, she doesn't. The Guardian does not know of any local instance, but has heard rumors that far to the north and then far out to sea, there are 2 instances upon which this attempt has been made. The results are unclear.
What do you know of the one far across the sea, if anything? And where might I learn more about it? About this cult?
I do not know. But if you seek the cult, search for a small group of devoted followers. They have mutilated their bodies to embody their goddess more than others. They are said to have slitted eyes and scaled skin, though they still remain human or humanoid. They themselves believe to be something different.
That freaking Farrakha priest. What was her name? She got me. It was... Yeah. Farina Abraxia.
Okay.
I say, I thank you for your wisdom.
Okay.
And depart, I suppose. Is there any message that I might know those who all? Is there any message, any means by which I might know others who oppose this cult?
I know not. But seek out those who flourish under Nylea's wisdom.
I assume all who follow Nylea will oppose this cult, then. Again, I thank you.
Okay.
And I, stand and bow smoothly and head over to help camp.
Okay. Is there anything anyone else would like to do before turning in for the evening? I saw Talia's hand go up first.
I would like to escape the sheep pile.
Okay, how would you like to escape the sheep pile?
I was gonna actually try to help her escape the sheep.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Give her assistance with that.
Yeah.
But you go first. Please.
I mostly believe it is through crawling.
Okay. Roll me either a stealth or an acrobatics check to try and dislodge yourself through the nestle of fleece and wool.
Acrobatics, I'm not at disadvantage. Damn it.
I'm sorry.
That's a 5.
Sherry, you said you were attempting to aid this?
Yes.
How are you aiding in this?
I'd kind of see her help, and I would come over. Oi, Thalia, you look a little in. Let me see if I can help you there. And she would again do the sit down, hands out, kind of try to be like, hey, come here.
Okay.
To them off of her.
Roll me an animal handling check, Sherry.
Alright. That's a natural 1 4. Do I get pinned
Hey, where
as
did
well?
that rather large sheep come from? As you are now also consumed by the sheep.
Do I hear?
Callista
Do I
is
hear
gonna
any
go
of this?
over.
Do I hear
Yeah.
any of this?
Turned out as well as I thought.
I will say, it's very comfy.
You know, it's not that bad. It's like a revel, except softer.
I have an
Callista-
idea.
I'm giving up. This is fine.
Callista, what are you doing?
No, it's fine here. This is actually quite comfy.
Callista is going to come in herding dog style and just wait, come on.
Okay, animal handling.
Come on.
Yeah.
Joins the puddle.
Can I
Well,
give advantage to them?
You've been talking to the tree during this.
Okay, they're still going then. Great.
Yeah.
I'll go over and help.
Oh my god, that's an 8. This is
Okay.
we're not killing this cuddle
Talia?
pile.
Talia's
Despite
giving
our
up.
best efforts.
You are not able to convince them to move, but you are not enveloped in the ever-growing sheep puddle. Babros, are you trying one last ditch
Babros
effort?
sees this, stops for a minute, starts to laugh uncontrollably for a moment, recomposes himself, will walk over and start gently but firmly picking the sheep up and excavating.
Okay. Roll me an athletics check.
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear if you nat one. I swear if you nat one.
Real talk, Talia has given up. She's gone limp. This is just what's going on now.
This is my life.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a 23.
Okay, with a 23, you very systematically just kind of grab, lift, turn, put. Grab,
Flop.
lift, turn, put. And you are very slowly and methodically excavating Talia and Sherry from this pile. You guys are giving...
All laughing all the way.
You
Oh,
guys...
Sherry would have been like, no, I'm fine. I'll stay here for the night. It's quite comfy.
You have
Okay, then hearing that, I'll start putting them on top of Sherry.
Talia, you have a potential to extricate yourself if you desire, or if you have just resigned yourself to this event.
If I fail this, it'll be resigned.
Okay. What is this?
It's going to be an acrobatics check to try and hands and knees crawl out.
Okay.
I'm going to give myself a self-imposed disadvantage.
If you say so.
Just-
Would you like to
She
pray for
doesn't wanna get
guidance
out.
before doing so?
Please.
No, I don't want
I
to
don't know.
rely on my... Atheros doesn't need to know about this.
Okay.
I'll stick my hand out and offer it to her if she wants it.
Okay, roll.
It's a matter of pride.
Natural 20.
Hey!
Okay.
Nice.
So, you see the moment, Bavros sticks out his hand, you're like, thank Athros! It's just pull. You have dislodged yourself from the cuddle pile. Successfully. Although there are bits of fleece currently caught in your armor.
Everywhere. I am now very cold.
I'm quite comfy.
Have fun with
There's
that.
There's a fire going. Warm yourself up.
Yes.
Okay. So,
I will go to the fire and proceed to take off my armor, and then proceed to just...
If you get
all
enough
of the
of it,
hair.
maybe you could make fleece ram socks to
I
give you some
mean-
magic.
so, with that,
It could work.
as the night begins to draw on and the moon begins to lift high into the sky, everyone gets a long rest. And that is where we're going to take our break.
Awesome.
So, thank you everyone for listening. We shall return momentarily. But one last piece of good news before we go. Following the events and this long rest, everyone levels up. We'll be back in a few minutes. See you soon.
Oh shit, I have to choose spells.
Welcome back. We have returned. Had to move things a little around. Unfortunately, James's camera kind of went no tonight for one reason or another. That being said, though, we are back. And as the day dawns and the light shines over the field that you have come to rest in, for one, Sherry, you had some of the best sleep of your life, surrounded by Nick's fleece ram. It was like literally sleeping on a pillow of heaven. But one other thing is that Alexion, what is that?
Sorry. I'm just doing it on my phone for now.
Okay, then I will need to once again reposition things.
Sorry. I didn't think of that before.
It's okay. But because of your conversation with the Guardian, you may add one additional point of piety to your score for uncovering to furthering the truth that you are investigating.
Yeah.
So,
Doing it.
with that said, though, as the sun dawns and everyone wakes up and begins making camp, the Guardian escorts you all to the edge of the meadow, and then with a wave of his hand, you can see lights beginning, those same firefly-like lights beginning to pop throughout the forest. And he tells you, if you follow the lights, they will guide you safely to the forest's edge. Once you have left, you will be beyond my sight. I wish you good luck in your endeavors, and know that you always have an acquaintance here in the grove.
I really appreciate it. It's really an honor to be able to have acquaintances yourself. I'd love to just come talk to you more and hear more. Your stories must have been fantastic.
Well, that might be nice, but for some reason, I feel like your destiny lies elsewhere.
The revel is always moving. Challenges need to be made for idols.
Very well.
Is Lydia still here, or did she leave?
You don't see Lydia anywhere. Must have snuck away in the middle of the night.
I would go to the Guardian and say, before we leave, and say, please give the Lady of the Forest my regards and farewell.
I will. Farewell. All of you follow the lights that the Guardian has provided for you, dotting throughout the forest. As you follow the trail, you can see that no brambles harbor your path, and the trees almost seem to bend somewhat out of your way, just slightly, so that it makes traversing easier, and you're able to make it through. After about 3 hours of travel, you come to the outskirts of the forest, and once more lay your eyes on the port city of Neolanton. What do you wish to do?
Are we at roughly the same spot where we entered the forest?
Approximately, yeah. Maybe a little ways off by about like 20 or so feet.
Callista, you're better at this than I could ever hope to be. Do you see any other prints around? Perhaps of that other creature that that our friend in the forest saw?
Well, I can surely take a look.
Okay.
Before we move anywhere, I must ask you all something. Are you willing to do a little searching on your own while I go and speak with someone in town? I've received some new information and would like to... What's the word? I'd like to pursue this lead. It's not quite it, is it? That's not the word.
Something.
Well, if I do find tracks, I wouldn't exactly want to leave them, as things can get washed out very quickly. So
Would you be willing to? Do we plan now to scout and see where any such tracks, should they be in evidence, lead?
they might be
Or
leading
do-
back to town, in which case we see if we can find them. If we find them and they lead back to town, then we can all head that way and you can check out your lead. If they head the other way, I at least don't mind hanging around while you go ask your questions.
I apologize. My lead is. Sorry. Go ahead.
I do think we should stick together for a little bit and see where the tracks lead. Since they're fresh, we can't let them go stale. And then your questions can always be answered in a little bit. It's not going to disappear.
He's chewing his lip as this conversation goes on.
You look a little
It says-
dancey.
Maybe
He seems to
we-
be thoughtful for a moment, and what were you saying, Beverly?
I was gonna say maybe we look for the tracks, find the direction that they might be heading in, at least to get a direction, and then once we have that, we could go follow up on whatever it is you needed to do.
All of
You're
this is
very
assuming I
funny.
can find anything. Sorry.
Indeed.
Your words have moved me, Kanji. My worry, or perhaps that's not it. The object of my inquiry is unlikely to move. Let us see if we can find it.
Okay.
You seem a little dancey about it. You want to talk about it sometime?
He shrugs. He just says, "It's a good lead for a personal matter of mine, and I'm anxious to follow it. That is all. Let us be on our way."
She's going to clap him on the shoulder. Don't worry. We'll have our stories to follow. The Revel will find you. Iris's challenges are always fun.
Okay.
He looks at you confused, but he'll just walk on.
So, Callista, roll me a survival check if you are searching for additional tracks.
Guidance.
Could I assist? I have proficiency.
You may, and you may. So you are now rolling at advantage with a guidance.
Alrighty.
Because at
Survival?
this point-
Yes.
Yeah.
You will feel a hand on your shoulder for just a moment with an Athreos bless you. May he walk in his shadow.
That is a total of a 27 to survival.
27. Okay.
We now know
Callista is good at
anything.
anything. I am good at finding things.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that neither Basso nor Rando came into the forest.
Which is indeed interesting, because as you were searching around the area, trying to follow the lead that you had been given originally, and to look around where you had originally entered the forest, you see those same tracks, although now slightly faded with the day that has gone by. But you notice now, looking at them, that the tracks actually go in two directions. One does lead to the forest, the path that you followed before. But one begins to curve a little more towards the west and around the outskirts of Neolanton.
It does kind of take us back towards town.
It'll take you in the vicinity of town, but you're actually going around the outer wall.
It seems someone has led a false trail into the woods, and the current path leads slightly west and then around the outskirt. My guess would be around the outskirts of town.
Do you
The
think
masked individual. Go ahead.
sorry to make it bad fun here, but do you think you're barking up the wrong tree?
Well, with this
Well,
stranger,
I'm just glad.
With this stranger, I'm not sure we should take anything at face value.
I am given to believe that this might be our masked individual leaving these prints. We should tread cautiously.
Well, I'm sure if we were barking up the wrong tree with companions like yours, we won't get stuck in one.
I like the
Sweet.
sound of that. She's gonna like kind of gently tap you on the shoulder as well. It's a good hearty clap though.
Okay. So
Can you reach my shoulder?
Touche. She's gonna tap your arm. Touche. Got you there.
Fair.
I forgot how tall you were, so she's gonna
Yeah,
slap you
I'm
on
like-
the arm wherever she can reach, kind of just like.
okay. So
She parkours off of Bavros up to your shoulder.
that is
Does
definitely
a
possible.
barrel flip, everything. Let's go. She can honestly just squat, boom, jump up.
Okay. So you all are heading this newfound trail.
Yes, if that is all right with Lexian, because I know he had wanted to go back into town.
He changed his mind.
Okay.
His lead isn't going anywhere. Let's go check it
Okay.
out.
Okay.
So let's follow this lead before it disappears.
So
Agreed.
you guys decide to follow this new trail. Walking around the outskirts of town, it does take a little bit. The town, again, though not the size of a police, is a pretty large one. And you start cresting further west. Eventually, you start turning north as the wall rounds out. Eventually, you start coming across bits and pieces of beachhead as sand and waves begin to lap up onto the shoreline. The tracks do continue, though.
When we get to the beach, Callisto's going to actually pause and pull out some of her rations and head to the shore and offer some of, actually, not some of the rations, pulls a bit of the fleece off and actually sticks it into the water and says a quick prayer asking for Thasia's blessings on her hunt as they verge into her territory.
Okay. Roll me a religion check.
If this is pertaining to my god, I believe I roll it at advantage,
Yes, you do.
as I'm pious.
You are pious.
That's a 14.
Okay.
Still better than a 3.
That it is. You let some of the fleece fall through your claws and get carried away by the oncoming waves. You swear for an instant you see a small shelled creature just kind of peek its head out the water and then grab hold of a piece of it, tuck it back in for itself. You do feel that your offering, although different, is accepted.
Valuable. It counts.
Following this display, you guys continue onward, moving along the coastline. As you begin, you start to see rocks and outcroppings. Seems that you have reached the western side of the city and the northern side of the beach. The sea
The tracks continue.
The tracks do continue, but you're caught somewhat as you stare out towards the massive expanse of ocean before you. To some of you, this sight is welcoming. It is calming. It's familiar. But to some of you who have spent most of your lives either in the forest or in the cities, the sight is intense as all you stare out at, even though you do see some islands, nay, 300 miles just at the edge of the horizon, little blips of land, you can see the massive expanse of Thassa's domain. It is awe
But the footsteps.
The footprints do continue down the beach. However, they do seem to start to get faded as they're starting to go not into the surf, but with the surf. Moving parallel to the waves.
Callista's gonna kind of lean down in the surf and press her hand against the sand and go, Thasia, I seek those who I believe bring the cataclysmic change you've talked about. please grant me your ever-knowing knowledge and helps in following their footsteps.
Roll me a survival check. At advantage.
Righty. Hell yeah. 23!
Okay. You place your hand in the surf, and as the water trickles across your paw through your fur, you feel some of the sand beginning to give way underneath. And almost as if you are moving the very sand itself with your hand, you see more footprints.
I call everybody. Sorry.
Not of the same set, but of multiple.
Oh.
I hold my hands out as you start to notify this out, and I notify us of this, and I say, halt. My connection to nature and its denizens has increased. I think I might be able to see what I can see ahead in relative safety and while avoiding notice easily.
Can I clarify one thing about the footsteps?
Okay.
Go ahead.
When multiple, do you mean multiple people? Like it's different
Yeah.
sizes and shapes of people? Okay.
But they're all heading in the same direction.
Okay.
Looking down the beach, is there anything of note that we see? Any features, or cliffs or caves, or I don't know.
Roll me a perception check, Bavros.
Okay. That's a 6.
With a 6, you're having a hard time. It's mostly because a lot of this beachhead is either a combination of open or clustered by rocks in various places. It's hard to really make anything out. The one thing that you do notice, though, with Callista's aid, are these footprints heading further north and around the next outcropping.
I pull my polearm off my back.
Callista has strung her longbow and is prepared.
Shall I go and see what lies ahead for us? Or do we wish to simply walk around the bend and see what we may see?
My
I can move a little bit quicker and easier up front if you want. Not to interrupt you guys.
Can we
my
tell
concern. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, can we tell how many sets of footprints there are?
You can't
I don't
really...
recall hearing a number.
Well,
Actually, can I tell with my ranger features?
I was about to say, what's your favorite enemy?
Humanoids.
You can determine exactly how many. Based upon this, by the last traversion of humans, or humanoids, there are at least 12.
Oh. There are about 12 human-shaped or humanoid individuals.
I say we proceed together.
Yes,
Alright.
I agree.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna see if I can get anything going that will be useful here. You know what? Wait, hold on. 1 second. I am going to have everybody chill for a sec and say, perhaps there is a way I can get some information about what will transpire when we round the corner. My connection to Crufix's knowledge yields some benefits. Oh, I do not have the...
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a level 2 spell. You don't have second level spells
Well, it
left.
comes with the... If you look at the star map feature,
Uh-huh.
you can cast the augury and guiding bolt spells without expending a spell slot and without preparing the spell, provided you use a star map as a spellcasting focus.
Ah, okay. Very well.
I'm not sure if I probably still need the 25 GP cost.
Not with the star map. The star map itself is the focus, which the 25 gold token is what it would represent. So, no, you actually can use this for free, effectively, as long as you're using your star map.
Yeah. And so he, like, out of his things, he, like, pulls, like, what seems to be a star out of the, like, Nyx stuff. And it, like, comes out as a sliver. And then in his hand, you see, like, a small, like, kind of soft, faintly glowing whitish crystal, which he opens his hand and it floats in front of him as he sort of kneels down. And he, like, holds his hand up to it, and it starts shining, like, stars onto the sand, which he reads. And the question that I would like to ask...
Okay.
I'm looking at the exact rules, next 30 minutes. If we approach this camp ready for combat, we'll woe or not, both or neither.
The stars seem to twinkle as your map kind of moves and coalesces. The constellations shift in and of themselves. And what you see before you as the spell takes effect is something that Sherry recognizes. As you see the symbol of Eroas appear in the stars.
I'm not sure what that means.
It means that she's gonna just kind of. It means we're about
We'll
to have
woe
some fun.
both or neither.
The answer is neither, because it is undetermined whether or not you will succeed. But based upon this interpretation, courtesy of Sherry, the chance for glory awaits beyond.
Means we're about to have some fun.
Also means they are unlikely to be welcoming when we appear upon we stumble upon their secret gathering place. Perhaps you are right. There is little need for any attempts at diplomacy.
Well, you do think we can't really just assume that they're going to be hostile. You got to remember, maybe they're just a bunch of people just gathering. You need to go with caution. Yes.
And
Don't just
they may
charge
have
in.
Sorry.
Don't just charge in. Yes, a good fight. There's no glory in a
Shit.
empty
I would
fight.
very much like to. Sorry. I would very
They
much
may-
like to. Go ahead.
No, go. It's okay.
I would very much like to become a panther and observe their camp or whatever the gathering is before we actually go in.
Okay. You wish to wild shape?
That's my plan.
They may also have hostages that we may be aware of. We are still looking for a missing person that someone may have lured in with less than good intentions. So if we go in with our spears raised high, we might end up hurting people who don't deserve it.
Okay.
I will warn you.
So,
And I'll just go.
Perhaps
It's like
we
a
should
rise
just
of rock
approach
to get
cautiously.
okay. So,
It's like a ridge of rock to get there, right? Like over a ridge of.
effectively. Yes, Sherry?
While he's wild shaping and going to stealth, I'm going to kneel to one knee and make a prayer to Iros. Iros, in case we get into combat, I wish that you guide my spear and my hooves in your name for a glorious battle of fairness.
Okay. Roll me a religion check, Sherry.
17.
17. Okay. As you kneel down and say a quick prayer to your chosen patron and listen for the words, you feel the winds kind of coalesce around your spear. For your first turn, should combat erupt, you are under the effects of a bless spell. As Eroas has taken heed of your call and has prepared you for battle.
Sorry.
So, the gods are a very prominent force here in Theros, and it's hard to determine what and how they will aid. But as Alexian, you wild shape into this kind of star map version of a panther and crouch low to the ground and begin making your
Like
way
the
around the
star
corner.
and it morphs into panther, and and is it like over like a rocky ridge to get there?
More like a round.
said?
More like a round, a rocky outcropping.
So what I would like to do instead is use my brand new shiny climb speed as the panther and climb that rock ridge and get the high ground to see down.
Very well.
High ground.
Okay. You scurry up to the top of the rocks, climbing your way up, and as you do not see a campsite, nor do you see a grouping of individuals. What you see instead appears to be somewhat of a sinkhole, and the sinkhole pulls and pools itself down towards the rocky outcropping you have just climbed over. And as you watch the water trickle through the sand and the mud, beginning to rest down, you see a very large cavern entrance. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh my god.
Apparently it's a dungeon.
So,
Cool.
thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be back next week, barring other circumstances that are not going to be talked about right now because the world is fucked. And we hope to see you all very, very soon. But in the meantime, remember, keep doing your best, because we'll keep doing ours. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.
Good night.
Peace out.